They don't think about you when they're busy. They think about you when things are quiet, when the house settles down, when they're getting cozy for bed, when they're driving to work, when they're putting their phone down. They're just like, When there's zero distractions, you are the one that's on their brain. And that is the thing that's sort of switched up the game recently because I'm picking up on a quiet night, it hits differently. They used to be able just to brush you off, keep it light, keep it chill, keep it controlled. And now they're like hung up on you. They can't get you off the brain, and their feelings don't stay contained in their head now. And I think you recognize this because their behavior has to be changing if they're feeling differently. So if this person's feeling different and they're not pulling back as much anymore, that's what makes them hover when you stop chasing. They're watching your views. They're checking your activity. They're liking something randomly to get your attention, or literally just going quiet, but feeling present. Pick the pile that you feel most pulled to. So we have pile 1, we have pile 2, and we have pile 3. Right now, we're going to begin with pile 1. This person feels like the type, like, I'm too good to get attached. This is how they want to portray themselves. This is what the image is, that they're like, I'm fine. I don't need them. They could be a Gemini. I don't need others' emotions. I don't get attached. That's what this person's saying. But when they're around people, they can sell it. But when they're like, okay, when they're busy, they could sell it too. But when they're distracted, they can sell it. But when they're alone, their little story like crumbles down. So the first thing that happens when they're alone is you. And it irritates them because they don't want to keep thinking about you. It's not at you that they're irritated. It's with themselves they're irritated because they're catching you in their mind. They're like, why am I thinking about them again? Death card. They don't like feeling mentally controlled by you. And they don't like feeling emotionally influenced by you. This person realizes that one person, aka you, can sort of switch up their mood and you don't even need to be present. So the first thing I'm picking up on is this. This is resistance. This person tries to push you out of their mind as much as they can, redirecting things. They open an app, they scroll, they think of you, they're like, oh no. They turn on a show, they look for distractions. And if you've been dealing with someone who just disappears or goes quiet, this is one reason. Because quiet makes honesty come to a surface, and they don't like what they feel when you're honest with them. The second thing that happens is they replay. They replay everything in their head. See, look at that internal conflict. 5 of Swords. This isn't them like replaying a whole thing like a movie. You know what I mean? Like this is them sort of just realizing that the way you said something and it didn't land the way they wanted it to was weird. And I keep getting this one specific vibe from them. Like they remember a little bit where you were like nicer than you were before. Like now you're not as nice as you used to be to them. Or like you gave them patience in the past that they didn't really deserve. And then now they're like, oh my God, I took it for advantage. I should have given them some loving like they gave me. They didn't need to give me that kindness, but they did. And that affects them. Because I think they finally realizing that they took you for granted. And it wasn't intentionally, but it was definitely like emotionally. They just got used to you being there. They got used to you responding. They got used to you being reachable, and now they feel lonely. So now they have this like reoccurring account that like they just can't take it anymore. They can't take it anymore because the day feels so empty without you in it now. So it's not even always like romantic thoughts. Like sometimes it is, but it's like comforting thoughts. Like this person thinks of you as familiar, a sense of like, oh, that person used to be part of my routine, part of my life, and now they're gone, you know? Because once they feel that gap, their intuition kicks in and they start wondering, what are you doing? But like not in a creepy way, in a powerless way. They're wondering, are you okay? Are you over me? Are you thinking about me? Are you talking about me? Are you talking to someone else? They're wondering, do you miss me? They don't ask you though, because asking you would require them to be open, to be vulnerable. So they do it the other way. They do it the sneaky way. They check your activities online. They check your views. They check if you're viewing their stories. They're checking if you've posted. They check like when you were last active. Any clue to see to get the answers to things they're too scared to ask you. And I have to say this clearly. When they're alone, they miss you more than they show. Because when they're around people, they perform like they're doing fine. When they're alone, though, they feel the truth. And the truth is you affected them. You got under their skin. And it was in a way that made them feel like exposed. So now let's get into like what's tensing things up here. This person doesn't want to be the one that cares more. This person wants to be the one that can keep it on the DL that they're thinking about you. Like they don't want you to know the world. They don't want you to know that you have any power over them. So when they're alone, they argue with themselves. They like in their head over and over. Because one part of their head's like, text them, say something, be normal, be chill, like it's fine. And then the other part of them's like, no, don't. You're going to look stupid. You're going to look weak. You're going to get ignored. Don't do it. And that like creates this thing in their head where they're like back and forth. And they're just like orbiting around you mentally, but not actually coming towards you physically. Interesting. So if you've been feeling sort of like this weird feeling where they're there, but they're not there, that's because they're thinking about you. The devil. Yeah. So this pile explains why you're feeling that, because they're wrestling with themselves. And now I'm noticing something else actually. So when they're alone, they romanticize you and they remember you as like the version of you that made them feel really understood. And they want to reconcile the way you made things feel lighter for them. And there could be some sort of religion that you guys both follow, being seen without demanding too much. And they realize, oh no, this was true love, but I'm going to shut down. Like that's what this feels like. Like stop, don't go there, no pass, go. But the fact that they have to shut it down tells me what's real here, because you don't shut down something just because. You shut down something because it's got a hold on you. It's pulling you. And what they feel when they're alone is the King of Swords. This mix of like longing and fear. Longing because they want you. 10 of Swords. This is up all night. Fear because they don't know if they can keep you. Fear because they're not sure they can show up consistently for you. Fear because they don't know if they can handle what you're going to bring to the surface. And yeah, your absence affected them very deeply. 9 of Cups. They're just not going to tell you that, obviously. They're going to say it in their head at 2 a.m. and it's going to keep them up all night. Ace of Wands. They're going to say it when they see something that reminds them of you. They'll say it when they realize you didn't reach out today. And they're like, that's weird. And here's a new little tidbit I just noticed. They feel your silence like it's just a big judgment call. Queen of Swords. Even if you're not judging them, that's how it feels. They're like, oh my God, they saw through me. Temperance here. I'm done. That's what they think you're saying. I'm done. I see through you. I'm not available to you anymore. Like, this is what they're thinking you're saying. And that makes them panic internally because they're not ready to lose you. Not fully yet. And like not emotionally either. So now the question begs, what are they going to do with that feeling? They're not going to resolve it. They're not going to get over it. They're not going to try and manage it. They're going to try and control this. They're going to try and decide when they're allowed to miss you. And it doesn't work because the alone moments keep revealing the truth. And the truth is they haven't disconnected from you yet. They're hung up on you still. So even if they tried, even if they convinced themselves like they could, even if they acted like they are, when it gets quiet, they feel your energy. And the reason it's so intense is because you're not easily replaceable. Your energy is very specific. Like you are specific. And they know that. Now, let's just go a little bit deeper here. When they're alone, they also feel like they're guilty. Not always, but it comes in spurts. Like they think about times that they could have been nicer to you, could have given you as much as you were giving them. 8 of Cups. Times they could have shown up for you and they didn't. And that guilt isn't dramatic. 2 of Wands. It's subtle, but it's enough to make them uncomfortable. 7 of Pentacles. It's this like kind of a little pinch in the chest sort of thing. Like, hey, I didn't handle that right. Sorry. Ace of Pentacles. But then as soon as they feel that, their pride comes in. It's like, hey, no, wait, no. Here's Olive Branch. You didn't do anything. They're going to rationalize with themselves. I had a lot going on. I didn't mean to. They wouldn't have understood me. Like they're trying to justify it to themselves. But after they do that little justification to themselves, there they are again. And that's the cycle. They think about you. They feel guilt, remorse, whatever. They shove that down really deep. And then they check themselves. Oh, I miss him again. And the checking is what's important. Because this person isn't fully letting go of you. Like they might not be texting you, but they're definitely not letting go. They're keeping that thread open. Like even if it's just energetically, and I catch a vibe of them like checking your guys' chat to see if the bubbles are there. Like to see if you're texting them. They want to know that you're still there. They want to know that you're still available. So the little switch up here though is Judgment. So this is the problem here is starting. This person can't start. This person used to be able to say, okay, it's fine. I'll move on. But now they're realizing like pretending has a cost. And you're going to lose what you're pretending that you don't need. The cost is loneliness. The cost is you can't take it anymore. The cost is the constant mental noise of thinking of you. So when they're alone, they start to feel this urge to like fix things and, fix things, text you and like, but they're too scared to reach out or to go see you. Sometimes just with a small sign like, hey, I'm here. I miss you. But This person's scared. They're worried if they open the door even just a little bit, there's going to be like a big rush of feelings. And they don't trust themselves with that. So their openness looks like kind of hovering, like watching your stories and sort of like liking something old. Your shadow card was also music. So this could have something significant to do with you guys. It's almost like sending something and then deleting it. It's like something's inconsistent with you guys. And it's not because of you, I don't think. It's because caring freaks them out. So if you're pile 1, what they feel when they're alone is resistance, guilt, regret, and fear. And underneath all of this, love. They didn't expect to care this much for you. And when the world goes quiet, they can't pretend that they don't care for you. They can't pretend they don't feel for you. Follow us into pile 2 for more answers. Bye. Pile 2. Okay, so this vibe feels like someone who acts fine in public, but privately sort of gets like emotional in the most inconvenient moments. Like they could be completely normal during the day, and then something small happens, like the smallest inconvenience, and they're just thinking about you. So what they feel when they're alone isn't just missing you. It's this feeling of unfinished business, unfinished convos, like your guys' story didn't get completed, words that were never said, something between you guys is still hanging in the air, communication here. The first thing that happens when this person's alone is they get pulled into the what if cycle. What if I did this? What if I did that? And this person doesn't like living in the what if land. It makes them feel powerless. They try and shut it down. They try and push it down. But that what if keeps coming back. What if I had handled that differently? What if I had been consistent? What if I offered them? What if I was honest and worked on things instead of acting cool? What if they were my one? And I know that sounds like intense, but I'm not saying they're playing the future card. I'm just saying this is how their mind goes when it's quiet. Because you touch something in them that they don't really experience often. Emotional recognition, like, so this is them feeling like you saw them, like you understood them. And now in the alone moments, they realize that's rare. They're having this internal conflict here within themselves. So the next little realization they have is this: they miss your energy more than they miss like the situation you guys were in. They're willing to fight for it because they miss the way you made them feel. They miss your warmth. They miss the attention you gave them. They miss the sense of like being chosen by you. Even if it wasn't like official, it feels like it was very significant to them. There was like texture to this. Like I'm getting a very specific trigger here. It's that they feel like they're blocked. They think about you before they sleep. They feel like they're blocked from certain posts. That moment that their phone goes down in the middle of the night and the day's done, they're like, why don't I see them posting anything? Why aren't they posting anything? Like, that's when they're thinking about you. Am I blocked? I don't want to be who I used to be. You deserved better. Your presence, your voice, your face, that is just like what they want. That is the vibe, the softness that they want. And they would never tell you that out loud. They might even catch themselves like smiling and thinking about you and immediately feel stupid for that because they didn't expect to still feel this connected to you. They didn't expect you to linger, like the feelings for you to linger. You know what I mean? So something changed here though. Love. It made their alone thoughts stronger. Love changed it. So there was a shift in your energy. You went silent. You went colder. And you may have even stopped trying. And so when you stopped trying, it exposed something. It exposed that they were receiving more than they were giving. They were making no contact, and you were the emotional glue. And once that glue stopped sticking, the connection felt like it was slipping away. And that freaked them out. Engagement, they imagine like getting married to you and stuff. So when they're alone, they're wondering, oh my God, does Pal 2 hate me? Are they hurt? Are they done? And that thought brings up guilt, and they don't know if they can trust themselves here. Because this person knows that they didn't show up the way that they could have for you. They know that they left you in so much uncertainty, so much unfairness, that they were very inconsistent. And when they're alone, they don't have anyone else to blame but themselves. They have to sit with that, and it's uncomfortable. Let your friends help you. So those alone feelings are complicated. Like they long for you, but they're guilty, but they're feeling guilty. And that oftentimes makes people be avoidant. So they're thinking about reaching out, but then they freeze. Because reaching out means facing that emotional consequence to what they did. This is them worried, risking you being cold, risking you asking, so where were you when I needed you? You know what I mean? This person hates being confronted. Not because they're evil, not because they're manipulative, but because they don't know how to handle emotional accountability. They just take more and more on their shoulders. So if you've noticed them sort of circling around you, around and around, but not really come in to see you, that's why. So what do they do when they're alone? Okay, they feel stabbed in the back. They check. This person's absolutely checking up on you strategically. They don't check up on you in a way that leaves evidence. Like they might use like a burner account, or like Virgo, they might view things without liking. They might go in airplane mode to watch stories. This person might look you up and then close it because they want info on you, but they don't want you to know that they're looking for you. They want to know how you're doing without actually admitting that they care for you. The Magician. So the truth here is your absence affected them very, very deeply. It affected them because it made them feel replaceable. It made them feel like they might have misread their positioning in your life. They thought you were going to stay. They thought you were going to be available all the time and that you would always respond. They thought you would always be open to them, and then you weren't. And now they're up at night thinking about you. It's like curiosity, but panic too. Knight of Swords. What are they doing? Who are they with? How do they feel? The Empress. Panic. Did I lose them? Did I lose them? Is it too late? Did I ruin it? And another realization is coming in here. They feel a weird protectiveness over you. Like they don't want anyone else having you. Even if they weren't fully claiming you. Even if they weren't like fully committing to you. They still have this like possessive side of them where when they imagine you moving on, it like really gets them going. But that's super confusing to them because they're like, why do I feel that? Why do I even have the right to feel this way? And that's the point. They don't. They don't have the right. But they feel that pull to you anyways. So when they're alone, they have this internal conflict with themselves. They want you to be happy, but they also want you, and they don't want you to be away from them either. They want you to be loved, but they don't want someone else to be loving you. They want you to be okay, but not without them. and they hate that part of themselves because it sounds selfish. Kind of is selfish, but it is because they're attached to you and they didn't expect to be attached. So I am seeing that this person replays specific moments where you made them feel seen. Like something you said to them, something you understood about them that you didn't need to explain, like they didn't need to explain, or something like you called them out and they were like, or it's just that you accepted them. So they miss that. Like no one else treats them like that. Their life is full of sheeple and you're not. You're not that. They could be a Cancerian or you could be. So you became their safe place. You became where they felt understood. And now they notice that it's gone. They notice the difference. They notice how conversations with others feel shallow compared to with you. They notice they can't talk about certain things with anyone else but with you. And your name keeps showing up in their mind. Like, that person got me. So the emotional part here is like they're recognizing your value after not giving you what you deserved. They're recognizing now that like you weren't just about convenience, like you were there, you meant you mattered. But even though they didn't treat it like that consistently, they're realizing it now. So what changes here is building. This person's building, because when they're in those alone moments, they're going from denial to honesty. And they're starting to admit to themselves that they miss you, that they care, that it hurt when you went quiet, and that it feels weird not knowing what you're doing. And their openness is starting to show up as impulsive urges. Like, wait, I'm going to text them. So you'll notice that. Like you'll notice like a random text and stuff from them. You'll notice that they're going to ask you some weird ass question. Like, what's the name of that pizza place we went to? Or they might not even send it because they're still freaked out. So this pile stays ongoing. They're not fully decided. They're not fully undecided. But in their heart, they are still connected to you. And what they feel when they're alone is like unfinished business, longing, protectiveness, unfinished convos. So you mattered more than they admitted. And they're becoming very, very aware of that. They didn't expect to still be thinking about you in quiet moments like this. But here they are. Pile 3. This feels like someone misses you, like almost physically, like that makes them physically ill. They miss you in their chest, in their stomach, and they don't like that. Because this person is used to being able to control their emotions by controlling their environment. A bit manipulative, but that's okay. They can work. This can work. They can stay busy. They can go out. They can be productive. They might be an Aries. But when they're alone, the tower kicks in. The wave of emotions just shows up anyways. And the first thing they feel when they're alone and thinking about you is the 3 of Swords. Heaviness. Not always like super sad, but like sometimes it's just this, wait, there's something I can't ignore anymore. And it's connected to like being regretful about things. Ooh, yeah, 8 of Coins. This person wonders, ooh, I slipped up, I fumbled. They misjudged the situation, misjudged you. They underassumed and they thought you would always be there. And now they're realizing that you're not. Or at least you're not the same. So this person can feel you pulled away, as a matter of fact, even if you didn't say anything. They can feel you got quieter. 6 of Cups. You've stopped giving them access. They can see that. They can feel it. That's what triggered the alone thoughts becoming stronger, like the sun and the moon right beside each other. Their mind is trying to make sense of the change. See that death card? And what I hear right this second, they didn't expect you to actually choose you. They didn't expect you to choose yourself over them. They didn't expect you to hold your boundary, pal 3. And now they're feeling the heat of it, the consequence of it. So 7 of Wands, when they're alone, they think about you in 2 different ways. So the past timeline, when you were nice and warm and cozy and present. And the current timeline, the Lovers, Gemini, two-faced, distant, unknown, less available. And that hurts them because they've realized that they lost something that could have been good. Now, there are some triggers here though. So they get the urge to text you, obviously. You can tell by the cards. And then they stop themselves though. So that happens over and over and over again. They open the chat, they stare at it, they type something, back. Or they're just like, they like open it, preview it, and then close it. And the reason they're stopping themselves is because they're freaked out. They're scared you're not going to respond. Fear you're going to leave them on red or be icy about it. Or be like, I'm in a new relationship, stop texting me. That's what they're scared. So this person's afraid of losing power. But being alone, they're very, very strong. Like when they're alone, they're strong. They imagine a family life with you. And I also feel like this person wants you way more than you think. Like they might not like posts. They might not comment. They might not even look at you when you're in the room. But they watch you and they notice all the subtle patterns. Like they notice you're online at different times. They notice that when you were last active, they notice that you seem happier and like you seem like you're not thinking about them, you know? And that makes them feel more attracted to you, more irrelevant. They wonder if you're in a new love. This person does not like feeling irrelevant. Not because like they have a big ego. Well, they might. But like being irrelevant means like they don't matter to you. And they want to matter to you. Let go of control issues. Didn't I just say that? They have control issues. This person may have already moved on or is talking to someone, but like they're realizing that these people don't live up to the standard that they have up because of you. They want you. And then just makes them long for you more and more and more. And they feel that door closing. Like they want to reach for you before that door is fully closed and the opportunity is gone. But they're freaked out what they're going to find on that other side. So let's go a bit deeper here. Whoa. So obviously they miss you, right? But they miss the power that they felt when you were emotionally available. And that's hard to admit. Because part of what they loved about you was knowing that they cared. I'm stuck in visions of us together. This person knew they used to be able to reach you, and now they're like, I don't feel like I can text them anymore. So they feel super uneasy when they're alone. I can't promise you anything. There's no reassurance. And for someone like them, reassurance is like oxygen. Like they need it. Because their control, their power issues. So they keep replaying all the times they pushed you away, the moments they took it too far, moments they took it, like moments they went and didn't reply and acted like you didn't matter. He just can't let go of you. So when they're alone, they realize like, I've created these consequences. I created this distance is what they're saying to themselves. I created this distrust. I created this version of them that I don't like. You know, they hardened you. And that freaks them out. Because that version of you that they created can just leave. 2 of Cups. So it's not just a regret like oopsies. It's a regret like something important. And you can tell. because their energy changes around you. Even if they don't speak, you might feel them watching you. You might feel them hovering, and you might feel them getting jealous silently. So the high priestess, that's how they see you. They're trying to re-enter your space without fully stepping in because they don't know how to approach you directly. So I am seeing something very intimate here. When they're alone, they imagine seeing you again. Like not just texting, but seeing you. And in their mind, they picture the Four of Coins. They picture your face, your reaction, your decision, the Two of Swords, whether you'd be like nice or icy about it. And that makes them a bit anxious because they want to be close, but they're actually freaked out of the consequences. So they want intimacy, but they fear accountability. And they also fear that you've seen through them and that you've recognized the patterns, that you've stopped romanticizing them, and that you're looking at them realistically now. And that's scary for someone who's used to like being forgiven quickly. So what they feel when they're alone is desire, regret, anxiety, standoffishness. So this person is trying to be in your good books again, but they don't know how to get there. So there's another realization. Another realization is they respect you more now. They feel like they can't just access you anymore easily, and that they need to show up properly just to even get like, I don't know, get your attention. So there is a shift here that's starting because when they're alone, it's starting to like soften their edges up a bit. So this person's getting tired of holding their emotions in and tired of carrying this private feeling for you. So what this creates is a growing feeling to be like making contact with you. So it's not necessarily to confess everything, but to sort of like reconnect, to test if that bridge still exists between you two, to see if there's still warmth and kindness. And you might notice it as like a small message from them, or like a reaction to a post, or like a question that actually doesn't need to be asked, or a subtle "I'm here," and you're like, "You're where?" And they're like, "Oh, wrong person." So this person is definitely going to step towards something that they're afraid of, which is like the commitment, obviously. So they haven't actually disconnected from you yet, even though they attempted to and sort of said they were, but they're very, very much still connected. So the truth of this, though, you still matter to them, and they still miss you, and they still wonder, do I have another chance with pile 3? So pile 3, this is like an ongoing situationship because they're still deciding what kind of person do they want to be and what kind of person do I deserve. Do I lose them and keep my ego, or do I be vulnerable and look weak? This one is a heavy reading, and it's real, and those feelings keep pulling back to you. Thank you so much for spending your energy with me. I'll see you in the next reading. Bye.